Hello guys, welcome again to today's video. I hope you people are doing very well. So on today's video I'm talking about the fact that Africa should be feeding the whole world. Have you ever asked yourself if Africa have the potential, to produce more than what is actually producing in terms of food? Africa has what it takes to be feeding the entire earth. But just as in Africa, we are too relaxed when it comes to a lot of things. We are too, like, I don't know the word to use, but Africa, we have not really used our potential to the maximum. We're always cutting out at the average level. When you compare the potentials of Africa and other continents, you see that Africa has a larger, potential, has much more promises. It's more promising than when you compare it with all these other continents. But the problem is that Africa doesn't know how to tap into those potentials. That's the problem. That's the problem we have. Africa has the natural resources. Africa has the human resources to become the most productive continent on earth. But yet here we are still importing food materials from other continents. Some of you don't know, but Africa has 60% of the world's uncultivated arable land. That means Africa is only using 40% of its arable land while leaving out this remaining 60%. So it doesn't make sense that a nation that is this big, a land mass, and a human capacity is still leaving out 60% of its arable land. For what? And mind you, Africa spends billions of dollars annually importing food materials. We import wheat. Africa imports wheat, maize, rice, vegetable oil, dairy products, even frozen chicken. Nigeria alone spends 1.6 billion dollars importing wheat alone. But we can be able, here in Nigeria, wheat is grown in small scale in Plateau, Benue, and I think Sokoto or Taraba. But it's grown in the north under irrigated systems. Now, wheat doesn't grow anyhow here in Nigeria or even in Africa. But with the proper, environment, they can be able to grow. This is something that the Nigerian government or individuals can invest their money into and get these things right, and we grow it here instead of us spending all these billions of dollars, not even naira, importing all these things into the continent. The highest importers of food materials into Africa, you see Nigeria, Angola, South Africa, and Ghana. Then other countries. So you see that we are spending a lot of our revenues given to other countries, whereas you can invest all this money into the country, into the continent, and develop all these agricultural sectors. And instead of us spending billions of dollars yearly, we keep it here in the country, in the continent, and our GDP will keep on growing, and our economy will also keep on growing, because at the end of the day, we'll also be buying. People will also be buying from us, thereby creating more revenue and more jobs here in the continent, instead of us keep on importing and importing and importing. Annual food imports for Africa, the total annual food imports for Africa is 35 billion. That's for 2020. That was last year. 35 billion US dollars. That is what Africa imported in terms of food. That means that money, $35 billion, left Africa. Imagine if all this money was spent here locally to grow this food and to self-sustain ourselves. Now, by 2025, due to the fact that Africa is still increasing, because we are human beings, we are bound to increase and multiply. By 2025, Africa will be spending at least $110 billion on importing food materials. Like I've said, this food material, the main ones include wheat, maize, rice, vegetable oil, dairy products, frozen chicken. Whereas this money can be used to grow palm trees. Now put an end to us importing vegetable oil. It can be used to grow granules. Now put an end to us importing these granules from overseas. that will put an end from us importing vegetable oil, because we have the raw materials and we can process it ourselves. We can use this money to Nigeria. Africa alone has one of the highest maize arable land, like arable land that is good for planting maize, but yet we have underutilized it, and we are still importing maize. In Nigeria alone, Nigeria has almost 40% shortage when it comes to maize. Nigeria can't satisfy its own local demand for maize, so we have to import. But imagine if all these lands in the north are utilized, loans are given to farmers, because there is always farmers. There will always be farmers who have the urge to go to the farm, plant these plant products. But we don't have loans. There are no loans, and this is the job of the government. This is where the government comes into play. Empower these people with loans, empower them with seeds, and you see that these people have the urge to do these things, and they will grow it instead of us spending all this money to import them. Nigeria can't satisfy its own demand for maize, so we have to import. Now, what if money is provided for these people, because there will always be people to go into these agricultural ventures, and instead of us spending all this money importing from US, from Brazil, from China, we'll grow it here. If Nigeria is importing cars, all these electronic products, I could understand that, but importing food, gas, that is how it is. If Africa is importing food, then what is the essence of Africa? Since we are not producing cars, we are not producing aeroplanes, we are not producing drugs, what are we then used for? Because as black people, we have the ability to cultivate. We have the strength more than these white people. So if we're not utilizing it in the farm, where are we putting this our strength into? It doesn't make sense. It's crazy. Because Africa should be the one feeding the world. Because 60% of our land is still uncultivated. Africa has the most fertile land in the whole world. But here, especially sub-Saharan Africa. But now, we're not even utilizing our potential to the best. Come to football, Africa is nowhere. Come to manufacturing, Africa is nowhere. Now come to at least food, farming, that we should be known for. Africa is still missing. So what is now the essence of Africa? Since we basically depend on other continents for whatever we are eating. So you see, if Nigeria can be able to grow cotton in large quantities, even this clothes I'm wearing will be made here in Africa. But still, Africa is not growing enough cotton. So we have to import the cotton before we start making clothes. Now, instead of us importing the cotton, we even import clothes. Because we can't be importing the cotton. So we directly import the clothes. What if we grow these cottons here and locally produce our own clothes? Nigeria still imports rice. And sometimes you hear will be like, Nigeria imports rice. When rice can be grown in Ebonyi State and in the north. If Nigerian government can be able to focus more on agriculture. And the funny thing about Nigeria is that, because I'm talking about Nigeria too, even though it's Africa. But the funny thing about Nigeria is that Nigeria is relying too much on oil. Not knowing that in the next 30 years that we'll probably not have oil. So why don't you invest heavily on giving youths, old people, villagers, soft loans to go into these agricultural ventures and boost the agricultural economy. So that even if oil goes away tomorrow, we can still sustain ourselves by exporting to other countries that need to be fed. But here we are importing our own food. Since we cannot manufacture, since we cannot produce, since we cannot innovate, why don't we feed the world? But here, we are still allowing other people to feed us. So basically, we produce nothing. We produce nothing apart from oil. Even the oil, we take it to be refined and we buy it at a higher price. So it's really sad. It's really sad. If Africa can be able to utilize its full potential, and this is not even about Africa, I'm just talking to individuals. If you're in Africa, I think that at least, even if you don't have anything doing, farming is an option. Don't say that farming is a dirty job, it's for old people. No. Farming will always be an option because you and I have to feed. Now, for the government, I think the government should provide soft loans for these people who have the urge to go into farming. Because if the government can say, I'm providing loans for people who come and take loans and get into agriculture, you see that millions of people will troop in there. Because instead of staying idle, they will prefer to collect the loans and get into the farm. But here the government is not even encouraging agriculture in any way. We are still dependent on reasonable things that might not even last. But we have agriculture that will always last, because as far as human beings are working on this earth, human beings will always eat food, and food cannot be manufactured in the labs. It is manufactured in the farm. So there will always be need for farm-grown food. So I think we should have a rethink and start investing in agriculture and start heavily utilizing our potentials here in Africa, because Africa should be feeding the world. Africa should be feeding the world. Imagine 60% of our arable land are uncultivated. We need to do better in that aspect. So thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.